What's going on, y'all? It's 2KJ. Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate y'all for stopping by, man. The NBA trade deadline is coming up on February 9th, and we've already seen a move happen. Now, the Washington Wizards traded Rui Hachimura to the Los Angeles Lakers for Kendrick Nunn and 3 second-round picks. It's a nice start, but honestly, it's not enough. It feels like every single trade deadline, there's all these rumors, all this hype about some big names getting moved, and it never really lives up to expectations, man. But that is going to change today. So I'm recording this video on Tuesday, January 24th, and I'm going to be showing you guys the top 5 trades that I want to see this upcoming trade deadline. Then I'm going to put them here into 2K where I'm on start now mode, and I'm going to simulate the next 3 seasons to see how it all plays out. It should be fun, man. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let's get it. All right, guys, so the first trade that I want to do involves the Golden State Warriors. They're currently the number 10 seed in the Western Conference, the last team to make the play-in. They're 23-24, 10 games behind the Denver Nuggets for the first spot. So obviously they have not lived up to expectations. These guys are the reigning champs. And while they didn't have Steph Curry for a while because he was out with an injury, I think one of the reasons why they're underperforming is because they don't have center depth. Now, Kevon Looney, God bless him, he's been playing pretty well as their starting center for the past few seasons, but I think he's really meant to come off the bench. They need a nice rim protector, somebody who can also facilitate a little bit, and I think I have something in mind, so let's go ahead and check that out. So here it is, man. In this move, the Golden State Warriors will be getting Jakob Poeltl from the San Antonio Spurs in exchange for James Wiseman and what should be a 2025 second-round pick that they'd acquire from the Charlotte Hornets. Now, I want to say some of these trades are going to be a little bit weird on 2K because it's not a perfect game and it doesn't have all the picks correct, but all of these trades were approved on Fanspo. You're going to see it popping up here in the corner. So that is way more accurate. It has all the updated salaries, all the updated picks the teams own. So in reality, this should be a 2025 pick that is not here in 2K. But yeah, it shouldn't make much of a difference. So I think that's fine. Now looking at the value, this is another thing that's not accurate. It says James Wiseman is 3 stars. However, in reality, his value is at an all-time low. You know, he's been spending some time in the G League, hasn't even looked great then. And we just said the Golden State Warriors need center depth. Here's a center that was the 2nd overall pick in 2020, and yet he still can't carve out a consistent role with the Warriors. So I don't think it was a great fit from the start. I think they should trade him away right now while he still has some value. It's going to cost him a 2nd-round pick, but they're getting a guy in Jakob Poeltl who I think is really going to fit in well, man. He's 27 years old. He can help you win right now. He can probably also still be around if you start to look forward to building around guys like Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga in a few years. You know, he's averaging about 3 assists per game. He's got some decent IQ for a big man as well. And if you're a Spurs, you don't need Jakob. You know, you're a rebuilding team. He's making $9 million per year. He's probably going to ask for more once he becomes a free agent here. So you're probably going to lose him either way. You might as well take a risk here with James Wiseman, and maybe you can bring out the value in him that a lot of people saw when he was coming out of college. So that's what we're going to do this trade. We're going to accept it here. And now let's go ahead and check out the rotations. So the Warriors are now rolling with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and Jakob Poeltl. I think it's a really nice starting 5. Off the bench, they still have Jordan Poole, Kevon Looney, Andre Iguodala, Dante DiVincenzo, and if they want to give some minutes, they can to Jonathan Kuminga. I'm not actually going to be controlling any of this. Once I make all these trades, I'll just sit back and see what happens for the next 3 seasons. But yeah, that's a look at the Golden State Warriors. Let's go ahead and check out the Spurs now. So the Spurs are rolling with the same starting 5. They got Trey Jones, Josh Richardson, Keldon Johnson, Stanley Johnson, and Zach Collins. Then off the bench, they got Keita Bates-Diop, Doug McDermott, Gorgui Dieng, James Wiseman, and Isaiah Roby. So hopefully Wiseman will be able to get some more PT. You know, Zach Collins is also young at 25, has been playing pretty well, but you would think they're going to start to roll with the potential of Wiseman and just see what's there. Either way, though, they're just looking to be bad this year. So, you know, losing Jakob Poeltl helps them do that. He's one of their better players. So hopefully they'll be able to tank this season and get a good pick. Now, Victor Wembanyama might make it a little bit tough, but it is what it is, man. Obviously, he would be the priority over James Wiseman. But even if they get a guy like Scoot Henderson, I think that would work out really well. So we'll see how that plays out. But let's keep it moving with trade number 2. So my second trade involves the Phoenix Suns. They're currently the 8th seed, 24-24, and they're 9.5 games behind the Denver Nuggets for the first spot. Another team that is expected to be competing for a championship but has been underperforming. And they have had injuries similar to the Warriors. You know, they've had Chris Paul miss some time. They've had Devin Booker miss some time. And when those guys are out, and they really don't have any other guards who have been able to consistently produce for them. You know, Cam Payne hasn't been great. Landry Shamet has had his moments, but also hasn't been consistent. So I think the objective of this one is to get them a nice guard who can facilitate, who can create, and just take some of the burden off of guys like Chris Paul and Devin Booker. So I have something in mind. Let's go ahead and check this out. So here it is, man. The Suns will be getting Terry Rozier from the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for Jay Crowder, Landry Shamet, and a 2024 first-round pick that is top 5 protected. Now, I think Terry Rozier will be a perfect fit for the Suns. Like we said, he can take a lot of that burden off of Chris Paul and Devin Booker. And he's also 28, so, maybe if they lose Chris Paul, whether that's to retirement or whatever the case may be in like a year or two, you still would have Terry Rozier to also come in and give you some production. I think it makes sense for the Hornets because they're a tanking team. They're looking to be bad, and losing Terry Rozier would help them do that. You're getting a first-round pick. It is top 5 protected, but still you would expect that to convey if the Suns continue to be competitive. So yeah, I think that would really help it, and I do think they would buy out Jay Crowder. Now, in reality, Crowder hasn't been playing for the Suns this season. He's just looking to get traded, and he's really been on a contending team for I don't know how many of the past few seasons. As we take a look over here at this, I mean, he spent time in Miami where they went to that finals run. He was with the Jazz, who were a playoff team for a while. He was with Cleveland, with Boston. So I'd imagine he'd get bought out of this contract and then go somewhere where he can compete, which we'll see what he ends up doing. But yeah, you're taking on Landry Shamet. If you're the Hornets, you're fine with taking that contract on for the next 2 seasons. I think this trade is good, man. We're going to make this here and approve of it. And let's go ahead and check out the rotations now. So the Suns are now rolling with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and DeAndre Ayton. It's the same starting 5. However, off the bench, they got Terry Rozier, Cam Payne, Torrey Craig, Dario Saric, and Damian Lee. Yeah, I think this is nice, man. I'm expecting this to be a really big boost for them as we go and check out the Hornets now. All right, guys, so I just released Jay Crowder off camera. I'm going to show you where he lands in a second here. But right now, the Hornets have a starting 5 of LaMelo Ball, Kelly Oubre, Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, and Mason Plumlee. Off the bench, they got Nick Richards, Jalen McDaniels, Dennis Smith Jr., Cody Martin, and then they're not giving any minutes to Shamet. Again, they just want to be bad, so really anyone who can come in and produce, you might as well bench them. Yeah, that's pretty much the goal for this team. If they could tank and maybe get Victor Wembanyama, that would be an insanely good fit with LaMelo Ball. Even Scoot Henderson could still fit here at shooting guard. So I think this is going to work out for the Hornets because, again, they don't need players that can help them win. So I think it's a win-win for them. Let's go ahead and check out where Jay Crowder landed, though. So in this scenario, Jay Crowder ended up getting signed by the Memphis Grizzlies. They're a team that is one of the up-and-comers, currently the 2nd seed in the Western Conference, and he's already played here before, so there's some familiarity. He's a nice 3-and-D guy, a nice veteran guy for a young team, can provide some leadership. So I think that'll work out really well. Now, our next trade is probably our one that is the most out there, but it involves the Washington Wizards. This is a franchise that refuses to make a decision, man. Do they want to go all in? Do they want to hit the full reset button? It seems like they've just been content with being a middle-of-the-pack team that gets eliminated in the 1st or 2nd round of the playoffs, if anything. So we're going to go ahead and change that, man. Let's go ahead and see the trade package. So here it is, man. It's a bit wonky because it doesn't work here on 2K, but you can see the real one popping up. The Wizards will be getting DeMar DeRozan, and in this case, Goran Dragic, just because the trade won't go through for 2K unless I do that. And then they'll also be giving up Kyle Kuzma, Will Barton, and what should be a 2024 unprotected 1st-round pick that they don't have here in 2K. But when we get to the 2024 draft, I'll make sure and assign that pick to the Chicago Bulls. So the reason why this works for the Wizards is because, like I said, you got to make a decision. And if you have so much money tied to Bradley Beal, I don't think they're going to move on from him. So you might as well just go all in. Bringing in a guy like DeMar DeRozan, I think he'd fit in really well there in Washington. You're giving up Kyle Kuzma, who I really like. However, he's made it pretty clear that he wants to go to a big market once his contract is up this upcoming season. As you can see over here, he's going to have that player option and probably decline it to go somewhere else because Washington is not a big market. So yeah, I think going to Chicago definitely fits that need. And he also kind of fits with what the Bulls want to do there. I think the Bulls are starting to look ahead to the future, and Kyle Kuzma has been playing really well. He's 27 years old. He could definitely be a part of those plans. He's averaging 22 points per game, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, shooting a little bit below league average from deep, but I think would be a really nice addition. You're also getting Will Barton to make the salary match up, and you're giving up a 1st-round pick, which should be here. But I think that's fine because you're getting off of DeMar DeRozan's contract, which, as you can see over here, is going to be $28 million the next season, almost 29. So yeah, man, I think this is a good trade for both teams here. It helps the Bulls look to the future, and it helps the Wizards finally make a decision and try to be competitive with a nice big 3 there of Bradley Beal, DeMar DeRozan, and Kristaps Porzingis. So let's make that trade and go check out the rotations now. So the Wizards are now rolling with Monte Morris, Bradley Beal, DeMar DeRozan, Denny Avdija, and Kristaps Porzingis. I think it's a really nice starting five. Off the bench, you got Daniel Gafford, DeLon Wright, Corey Kispert. We are going to take away minutes from Goran Dragic because he should not be here. And we're going to give them to Kendrick Nunn, who they just recently got in exchange for Rui Hachimura. In addition, they also got 3 second-round picks recently. But yeah, man, I think that is the rotation for the Wizards. And we'll see if they're able to compete, man. They are currently the number 12 spot in the Eastern Conference. So 2 games out from the last play-in spot. We'll see if they can make a push and get to the postseason. All right, so here's a look at the Bulls. They got Ayo Dosunmu, Zach LaVine, Will Barton, Kyle Kuzma, and Nikola Vucevic. I would like to also see them make some additional moves, trading Vucevic and maybe even Zach LaVine, depending on what they can get. They also got Andre Drummond, Javonte Green, Derrick Jones Jr., and Alex Caruso. So this is a team that, again, is looking ahead to the future, but I really think Kyle Kuzma would fit well there. You know, it's a big market, so I think he'll like that. And I think he can thrive, man. The guy can play basketball. So I really hope he goes to a team like this, as opposed to maybe just going to like the Lakers again and being in a limited role. I think Chicago is a place where Kuzma can really shine. So let's go ahead and keep it moving with trade number 4 now. So our 4th trade involves the Milwaukee Bucks. Now they're currently the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, 30-17, and they're 4.5 games behind the Boston Celtics for the top spot. This is a team that's had some injuries. You know, Chris Middleton missed some time to start the season. Jrue Holiday has missed some time. And it just seems like, man, there's been points where outside of this trio, who is contributing for the Milwaukee Bucks? Well, I think this trade will help them get another option. Let's check it out. So in this trade, the Bucks will be getting Bojan Bogdanovic and Rodney McGruder. We're going to have to throw in Corey Joseph here just to make it work on 2K. And then they would also be giving up Grayson Allen, Joe Ingles, Jordan Nwora, and what should be a 2029 first-round pick that is top 3 protected. 2K does not go that far, but neither will we in this simulation, so it's all good. Now, the reason why this would be good for the Bucks is because Bojan Bogdanovic has been having a career year. I mean, he's averaging a career high, I think it's 22 points per game this season. Yeah, just about. Also about 4 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting absolutely lights out from deep, 42.3%. I just think he'd be a perfect fit there in Milwaukee. And if you're the Pistons, you know, you're getting a few decent options back. Grayson Allen, I think, really fits the whole Detroit Bad Boys era that they used to have going on there. Joe Ingles is a veteran guy. You're also getting Jordan Nwora, who is 24 years old. Maybe there's something there. If you're the Pistons, you might be able to convince yourself that he can be a part of the future, depending on how he produces. And then you're also getting that pick, which we don't have here, but a 2029 first-round pick that's top 3 protected. Maybe that far ahead in the future, Giannis isn't there. Chris Middleton isn't there. Jrue Holiday isn't there. Maybe a combination of that trio. And all of a sudden, that pick becomes very valuable. So I think this works out for both teams. The Pistons have no use for Bojan at 33 years old while they're trying to tank. So we're going to go ahead and make this move here. And I want to point out before I do, Fanspo says that this trade is not eligible because Bojan signed an extension after September 28th. However, in reality, as you can see from this article here, there are no trade restrictions on his contract, which is why you're seeing him in all of these rumors. I mean, he's one of the biggest names that people are keeping an eye out for come trade deadline. So yeah, he definitely is eligible. I don't know why Fanspo doesn't have that. But we're going to go ahead and make this move, man, and let's go ahead and check out the rotation now. So it's a big lineup, but the Bucks are now looking at Jrue Holiday, Chris Middleton at the 2, Bojan Bogdanovic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Bobby Portis Jr. Now, it would be easy to do this over here. I'd start Connaughton and then have Chris Middleton. That's what they've been doing originally, but Bojan's averaging 22 this season, man. We got to find a way to get him into the starting lineup. So we'll put Chris Middleton at shooting guard. I don't think he'll have a problem because obviously he can defend just as well against guards as he does against forwards. So that's going to be the starting lineup. They also got Brook Lopez, Pat Connaughton, Javon Carter, Serge Ibaka. We're going to take away his minutes because he actually hasn't even been with the team as of late. We're going to take away minutes from Corey Joseph, who shouldn't be there. That's a look at the Milwaukee Bucks. I think instantly this brings them back to being one of the top teams in the league. Not that they really left that, but this firmly establishes themselves as contenders. And let's go ahead and check out the Pistons now. So the Pistons are bad, but that's exactly what you want if you're them. You got Killian Hayes, Jaden Ivey, Grayson Allen, Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duren, Alec Burks, Marvin Bagley III, Saddiq Bey, Jordan Nwora, and Joe Ingles. Now, this is a team that is looking to tank, looking to get a good pick, maybe Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, one of the Thompson twins, stuff like that. So, yeah, if this can help them accomplish that, then it is a W. But let's go ahead and keep it moving with our fifth and final trade. Let's go ahead and check it out. So my fifth trade involves the Miami Heat, and the objective is for them to become contenders again. Now they're currently the 6th seed, 26-22 on the season, and 9 games back behind the Boston Celtics. They actually only are 1 game ahead of the Knicks before we start getting into the play-in section. So yeah, this is a team that has been underperforming, and we're going to try to fix that here by bringing in a nice name. Let's go ahead and check this out. So here it is, man. The Miami Heat will be getting John Collins from the Atlanta Hawks. They'll be giving up Caleb Martin, Duncan Robinson, and what should be an unprotected 2023 first-round pick that in 2K it says it belongs to the OKC Thunder, which is not correct. So when we get to the 2023 draft, we'll go ahead and assign that pick over here to the Atlanta Hawks. But the reason why this works for the Hawks is because John Collins has been wanting out for a while. The Hawks have been underperforming, and Collins has been underperforming as well. He's averaging 13 points per game, little under 8 rebounds, but shooting it really poorly from behind the arc. And one of the big appeals for him is that he's only 6'9" as a power forward slash center. At least he can space the floor. Well, that hasn't been the case compared to previous seasons. So hopefully a change of location will help him out. And if you're the Hawks, you know, you're getting Caleb Martin, who can help you with some 3-point shooting. The Hawks desperately need that. They're one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league. You're also getting some 3-point shooting from Duncan Robinson, although obviously his contract is not the best, which is why you're throwing in this first-round pick. And you can also look forward to that pick. You know, maybe you get a nice player late in the draft, because I'd imagine it'd be 25 to 30 range if the Heat become contenders again. I think that's a good move for the Atlanta Hawks. And if you're the Miami Heat, getting John Collins would be really nice. I think he'll be one of those guys that once he gets to a new team, once he finally has these trade rumors that have been on his shoulders, on his back for the past 2 seasons off of him, I think he can really come out and produce and have a nice bounce back season. So let's go ahead and make this move and check out the rotations. So now it's looking like Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, John Collins, and Bam Adebayo as a starting 5. One of the best starting 5s that we've created here, in addition to probably like the Bucks and the Warriors. I think it's nice, man. They still got Victor Oladipo, Dwayne Dedmon, Max Strus, Omar Yurtseven off the bench. So this definitely puts them back into contention. We'll see how much they can move up, you know, because like I said, they are the 6th seed, right on the border of becoming a play-in team. So let's see how much that helps them out. But without any further ado, man, those are all 5 trades. Let's go ahead and simulate the rest of this season and see how it shakes out. So no surprise, Luka Doncic wins MVP as you would expect. He does it in every simulation. I'm just trying to see if there's anyone from the teams we involved that wins anything. There's Giannis winning Defense Player of the Year. That has nothing to do with our trades. He was probably going to do that either way. Trey Jones also gets Most Improved. Nice to see. Let's go ahead and take a look at the All-NBA teams. I can't imagine any of the players that we moved will make anything. Let's go ahead and check it out. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything to report here. But let's go ahead and check out the playoffs, man. Starting off here in the Western Conference play-in, the Golden State Warriors are the 8th seed. They were the 10th seed before we traded for Jakob Poeltl, so they had a nice little boost. As we move over to this play-in, it looks like the Chicago Bulls, after trading DeMar DeRozan, went up from the 10th seed to the 9th seed, still in the play-in, but that's good to see that they're still able to compete right now. Taking a look at the top teams here, the Atlanta Hawks went from number 8 to number 4. So that trade to get Caleb Martin and Duncan Robinson actually helped them out, which is very surprising. And they're going up against the Miami Heat, the team that they traded John Collins to. So that's really interesting. We'll definitely keep an eye on that series. The Heat went from number 6 to number 5, so just a small change. The Bucks surprisingly actually dropped from 3 to 6 after acquiring Bojan Bogdanovic, giving up Grayson Allen, Joe Ingles, and Jordan Nwora. So that is surprising as well. The Memphis Grizzlies added Jay Crowder. It was a very small side quest in our video here, but apparently that helped them. They were probably already going to be really good either way, but I do think Jay Crowder is a nice addition. The Phoenix Suns had a big jump going from 8 to 4 after adding Terry Rozier, so that's nice to see. Let's go ahead and check out the teams that didn't make the playoffs. So the Washington Wizards, you hate to see it. They go all in, they trade for DeMar DeRozan, and they stay put. They went from 12 to 12 in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, not ideal for them. They'll probably get a good draft pick, so that's something. But if they're looking to win now, this was not a good season for them. The Detroit Pistons and Charlotte Hornets are at the bottom of the standings. That is a good season for them. They want to tank, so making those trades definitely helped them accomplish that. Taking a look at the Western Conference, let's see. It is the San Antonio Spurs who have dropped all the way to the bottom of their conference. And again, that is a W. That's what they want. So shout out to them. They'll be in the contention for Victor Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, all of that after shipping away Jakob Poeltl. So let's go ahead and get into the play-in. We're going to simulate this first, see what happens. As the Chicago Bulls got eliminated. Let's go check that out. So they could not beat the Indiana Pacers, which is fine. They're looking forward to the future now after trading away DeMar DeRozan. The Golden State Warriors do make it though, as they're going up against the Memphis Grizzlies. So we're going to simulate this first round here and just see what happens. Let's go ahead and do that now. Let's see. The Grizzlies actually got upset by the Golden State Warriors. Wow. Okay. Very, very interesting. So the Warriors won it in 5. I don't know how much credit you give to Jakob Poeltl, but I have to imagine that really helped out, man. Let's see what Jakob has been doing in these games. 10-8. I mean, hey, they will definitely take it. Checking out some of these other games, 4, 12, and 7. There's some of that facilitating that we talked about. Also had 5 blocks. Yeah, like me some Jakob Poeltl, man. For those who watch my rebranding series, you know I love me some Jakob Poeltl. So that was a nice addition for them. The Phoenix Suns go down to the New Orleans Pelicans. That's tough. Very, very tough. Let's see. How did Terry Rozier do for them? I mean, he was hooping. So Terry Rozier did his job. This is not on him. As you see, he had 11 points in this one. Okay, 18 and 7. Yeah, I still think that's a nice addition. And again, it's not like he's a guy you're only going to have for a year. Hopefully you bring him back, and whenever Chris Paul isn't in the picture anymore, because he's already like 36, 37, you'll still have Terry Rozier. So taking a look over here, it was John Collins getting his revenge, beating the Atlanta Hawks. Let's go ahead and check out the box score. Where is Johnny Boy? Let's see. He got 10 points, 8 boards. Didn't do a whole lot that game. Let's see if he had. I want to see if he had just a nice game. There it is, 24 and 4. We'll take that. Shout out to John Collins. Helping the Heat advance. And then the Milwaukee Bucks lost to the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round. Went 7 games. Super unfortunate. Well, let's go ahead and simulate this round here. See what happens as the Miami Heat are out. But the Golden State Warriors, the 8th seed, are our last team that is still alive out of the teams we traded with. That's super interesting, man. Simulating this round. Oh, there you go. They got eliminated by Luka Doncic, who, by the way, I wanted to drop a trade for the Dallas Mavericks. Actually, I'm going to do a whole realistic rebuild of the Mavericks coming up later this week, so make sure to stay tuned for that. That's why I didn't want to include them, because I didn't want to give away what I plan on doing with the Mavs. But I am going to be getting Luka some help, and hopefully we'll have a similar result to this right here, because they just won a championship. Luka Doncic, Finals MVP. Let me take notes, man. What did they do? Let me take notes so I can have some success in my video. But hey, man, this was a fun first season. Let's get straight to the draft lottery and see what happened with some of these picks, some of these teams that have been tanking. Let's see how that shakes out. So the Washington Wizards skyrocketed to the 2nd pick. All of a sudden, you're looking at Scoot Henderson probably, in addition to Bradley Beal, DeMar DeRozan, Kristaps Porzingis. That's super interesting. The Spurs, unfortunately, fall down to number 5. That's a really tough break for them. Taking a look at this, the Hornets get 6, Pistons get 7. Yeah, man, let's go ahead and simulate this draft and just see how it all plays out. So the Rockets get Victor Wembanyama, good for them. The Wizards do end up going with Scoot Henderson, so that's nice. The Spurs settle for Brandon Miller, still a good prospect. The Pistons and Hornets here, they got Jarvis Walker and Arthur Kaluma. I'm not going to pretend like I know all of these guys. I know for the most part a good amount of them. As we keep it rolling here to the 29th pick, something I want to point out. Let's see, or it's the 25th. This is the pick that is meant to go to the Atlanta Hawks because it belonged to the Miami Heat, but then they traded it as a part of that John Collins trade. So Dylan Mitchell from Texas, actually I already know him because I am a Texas alum. He's going to be going to the Atlanta Hawks, which is nice, man. They get a nice young power forward who I think in real life is projected to be a borderline lottery pick. So that's a good addition for them, 73 overall at the age of 19. So we'll make that move off camera as we add him to the Hawks. And let's go straight to free agency and see what else happens. So the Warriors actually lost Draymond Green, the heart and soul of their team. He's going to the Jazz. Draymond has even talked about leaving the Warriors or getting traded from them, feeling like it was inevitable. He said that recently. So that makes sense. Let's go ahead and see from the other teams we traded with if there's any big movements. So the Jazz also apparently got Kristaps Porzingis. He leaves the Washington Wizards. That's really interesting and doesn't really fit what the Wizards want to do. I'd imagine they're trying to compete now. But hey, man, I got no control over that. It is what it is. Nikola Vucevic, I said that I wanted the Bulls to get rid of him. Looks like he just walked in free agency and is going back to Orlando. He said, hey, I missed the good weather over there, man. I'm tired of the snow. So that's funny. But yeah, I think that's just about it out of the guys or out of the teams that we traded with. So we're going to keep moving to season number 2 and just see how it plays out. So here we are at season number 2, and we're just going to simulate the whole season and just go straight to the playoffs. I just want to see how these trades age and see how the teams end up being like 2-3 years from now. So let's go ahead and do that. So Luka Doncic wins MVP once again. Victor Wembanyama gets Rookie of the Year. I'm just trying to see if there's anyone we know. Let's see. Giannis gets Defensive Player of the Year again. Has nothing to do with the trade we made with the Bucks. The Hawks, actually, Nate McMillan. I'm assuming he's still with the Hawks. 62-20, so that's interesting. Let's go ahead and check out the playoffs, man. Actually, we'll go check out this first, where I doubt we're going to have anybody we had in any trades. Scotty Barnes makes All-NBA second team. That's interesting. But yeah, nobody we involved in trades is here. Alonzo Ball is back and on the all-defensive second team. Scoot Henderson gets all-rookie first team on the Washington Wizards. Brandon Miller with the Spurs gets it as well. So we don't have any teams in the play-in for the Western Conference. Taking a look at the East, the Miami Heat are the 7 seeds. They've taken a little bit of a step back. The Chicago Bulls continue to find a way into the postseason, or at least the play-in. The Atlanta Hawks are the top seed, which is very interesting. Detroit is the 5? Nah, what is going on? Golden State is a 5. We got to take a look at all this, man. 1 second. Let's check this out. So the Warriors are back to running with Kevon Looney at the 5. Apparently, Jakob Poeltl ended up going to the OKC Thunder. Taking a look at the rest of this year, the Phoenix Suns, they had a down year. They brought back Terry Rozier off the bench, but unfortunately, we're not able to make the play-in. Let's see, what else do we got around here? The Spurs are still bad, probably part of their plan to get another good pick. Taking a look at the Eastern Conference, how did the Atlanta Hawks do this? What did they do? Like, let's go ahead and see. Yeah, I mean, Duncan Robinson is still there. Caleb Martin's still there. They just decided that they're good at basketball all of a sudden. So very interesting there. The Detroit Pistons as well. Cade Cunningham is back. Jordan Nwora has apparently established himself as a starter, so that was a nice addition for them. Grayson Allen is still there. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Very interesting. The Miami Heat do still have John Collins. The same starting lineup for them. Taking a look over here at the Chicago Bulls. Lonzo Ball is back, as we mentioned. They're starting Dalen Terry now at the 3. It looks like Kyle Kuzma walked. Let's see where he ended up. So Kuzma is also on the Thunder. So apparently they just decided that they were going to steal everybody I involved in trades. They have Jakob Poeltl and Kyle Kuzma. That's super interesting. Did they make the playoffs? Yeah, they're the 4 seed. All right, man. Very interesting how this has played out. We're going to go ahead and simulate the play-in here. Let's get past that. The Chicago Bulls got eliminated. And let's go ahead and simulate this round by round. Just see what happens here. Let's see. The Pistons are out. The Warriors are out. All that's left, we're not really counting the Memphis Grizzlies. We just gave him Jay Crowder. Who is he even still on the team? Let's see. Yeah, he's not even on the team, so we don't care about the Grizzlies anymore. The Atlanta Hawks are still here. The Miami Heat are still here as well. So let's go ahead and simulate that. The Heat are out. The Hawks are still in it. Atlanta! Oh, they got eliminated. Hey, man, that's a pretty insane run, an insane season. I'm not even going to call it an upset run because they were the top seed, apparently. But it ends up being the New Orleans Pelicans who win this one. Let's go to move on to the next season here, our 3rd and final season of this. All right, so the Spurs ended up getting the top pick in the draft. Good for them. They also have the 4th pick, which is super interesting. Nothing else really notable here. The Bulls have the 11th, so they're in the lottery. But yeah, let's keep it moving with the draft, see who they end up getting. This is just auto-generated players at this point because there's not really a great 2024 draft class. So we're just going to skip this here, or simulate it, I should say, and see what ends up happening. The Spurs get Sid Tiggs, a point guard who's an 80 overall, and that's perfect. They probably need some guard help, I'd imagine. I haven't looked at their roster, but I think from the current day, they definitely do. They also got Edward Isley, a 74 overall, so a bit of a dud. But that's a nice hit, man. That's a nice hit. Let's see where the Bulls ended up going. They ended up going with Gary Moss, 75 overall center. So let's keep it moving over here to free agency, see some of the big movements. And then we're just going to speed run this third season because at this point, I think realism is out the window. So the Bucks actually lost Chris Middleton to the Houston Rockets. Interesting there. Kristaps Porzingis, he already left the Wizards. He's re-signing with the Utah Jazz. Yeah, man, there's not a whole lot going on here in terms of the teams that we are kind of focusing on. So let's keep it moving with the third season and get this one wrapped up. So Ja Morant wins MVP. Taking a look at the rest of this, Brandon Miller gets Sixth Man of the Year. Giannis, again, Defensive Player of the Year. Scoot Henderson, Most Improved, averaging 32 and 8 now. So that was nice. That was nice for the Wizards to be able to land him. Taking a look at these All-NBA teams, I don't think it'll be anyone. Oh, actually, my mistake. Scoot Henderson, All-NBA third team. Shout out to him. So I guess it worked out for the Wizards. Worked out just well. Wasn't what I planned on. I planned on them competing to win now, and they ended up with one of the best young prospects in the league. But hey, there we go, man. There we go. You're welcome, Washington. Taking a look at the play-in, the Chicago Bulls back at it here. Detroit Pistons are the 10th spot. Miami Heat, Washington Wizards. Okay, so we got a good amount of the teams actually that are still making the playoffs, which is interesting. I do, before we get into this, want to just take a look at the teams and see how some of the players, whichever ones are still with the teams I traded them to, I just want to see how they ended up progressing. So let's go ahead and do that right now and check that out. Jakob Poeltl isn't on the Warriors anymore. Let's see, DeMar DeRozan isn't on the Wizards anymore. Bojan Bogdanovic is still here. What has he been doing? Not a whole lot. He is 35 years old. So it is what it is. You knew that when you were getting him, that it was going to be a small window. MarJon Beauchamp is actually playing pretty well for him. He's someone I thought about including in the trade instead of a first round pick because he's a young prospect. But looks like it's a good thing that he ended up staying here. He didn't start, but it's been pretty nice for them off the bench. The Bulls, they would have gotten Kyle Kuzma, who didn't even stay after that first season. The Grizzlies, they lost Jay Crowder. Let's see. Caleb Martin is still here with the Hawks. He's still, let's see, is he shooting the ball well at least? He is. So there's that. Do they still have Duncan Robinson? He's still here. He played one game. And did he even attempt a shot? I don't think he did. So yeah, Duncan Robinson is still there. And it's worked out for the Hawks. So you can't even complain. John Collins is still here for the Heat. He's averaging 15 and about 8. Let's see, pretty similar numbers from last season. Still not shooting the 3-ball well, which is really disappointing. You kind of hoping that would change. Taking a look at the Hornets, who did they get here? They would have gotten Landry Shamet from the Suns, which it doesn't look like he is on the team anymore. It is what it is. Taking a look at the Detroit Pistons, let's see, they would have gotten Joe Ingles. They would have gotten Grayson Allen, Jordan Nwora. Doesn't look like any of them are still here. That's just a result of 2K, man. You know, things change so much. I guess it happens in real life too, but things are always happening in the league. A lot of trades, free agency stuff. So it is what it is. James Wiseman, 17 points and 10 boards. This is the one I actually wanted to start off with. I'm really happy to see that James Wiseman has found a home in San Antonio. That's good to know. Taking a look at the Suns, who still have Terry Rozier. He's averaging about 17 and 6. That's good to see because I'm guessing Chris Paul probably retired. So now he is starting for them. And that's going to do it for the look at the teams. Let's go ahead and just simulate this pretty quick. See what happens here. Let's see. We have 2 play-in teams. So let's do that. The Pistons are out. The Bulls, however, do make it. Let's simulate this round by round. And the Bulls are out. The Wizards are out. Who's still alive? Who's still alive? It's the Golden State Warriors still in it. The Atlanta Hawks and the Miami Heat. I'm just laughing every time I see the Hawks, man. This was not the plan. But hey, I guess they were better without John Collins. You know, it wasn't a good situation. I'm sure that weighed on the players a little bit. But there we go. And actually, how fitting. The final 4 is all teams that I made some sort of move with. We're counting the Grizzlies. I gave them Jay Crowder, so we're counting that even though he's not on the team anymore. But let's go ahead and simulate that here as it is. Come on, give me the Warriors. There we go. 2 teams that I legitimately made moves with. Now, Jakob isn't here anymore, but the Heat do still have John Collins, so I'm rooting for them. Oh, and it is the Golden State Warriors. Hey, man, this was a lot of fun. These were the 5 trades that I want to see in the upcoming trade deadline. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. This has been 2KJ. Blessings.